Good morning, everyone. My name is Joel Vasquez. I'm a senior member of the youth group Jovenes SANOS, and this is my amazing mentor, Kymberly Lacrosse.
Thanks, Joe. Yes, good morning, everybody. We are very honored to be here, excited to be here, and a little nervous. But really thankful for the opportunity to have this time with you to talk about what we do, but more importantly, to talk about why we do what we do, and how we do what we do. I really enjoyed your presentation, Manuel, so far, and really related in so many ways, and appreciate the time to acknowledge the work that we do, because doing it differently is what's going to change things. So Joe's going to talk a little bit more about who we are in Jovenes SANOS, but I just want to take a moment to talk about our new tagline, Growing Greatness, and what that is to us. I mean, obviously we're youth-based advocacy and leadership, as it says there, but growing greatness for us is about growing each of us as individuals, but it's about growing the community, it's about growing our partnerships, it's about growing fruits and vegetables, and it's really about growing joy, happiness, thriving, and growing equity, all of the aspects. So that's what growing greatness means for us. Go to the next one.
So our mission statement is to prevent and raise awareness about childhood obesity in Watsonville by advocating for policy, promoting healthy eating and active living in our community.
Okay, so for us, this is more than, mission statements are interesting to me. They are often, talk about your task, but don't often talk about the vision or the goal. And so for us, a lot of that is about our values and principles. And really, a tagline too from the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation that we've worked with is creating a culture of health. And that's really what we're working to achieve, where healthy is the norm, and it's what everybody's doing, and no one's thinking about it, and the healthy choice is the easy choice. And the work that we're doing, again, is really rooted in equity, it's rooted in justice, it's rooted in access, and not just access, but affordable access, so that individuals can have easily access healthy food and physical activities and safe places to play. Okay, there we go.
So these are some of the projects that have JS has been part of, Jovenes SANOS. The Healthy Restaurants Project, the Healthy Eating Options Ordinance, the Healthy Corner Markets Project, and the Healthy Vending and Vendor Policy. So with these projects, youth have always been incorporated into participating in them, for the fact that we can go from talking on city council all the way down to getting down to the labor, helping out stores, rearranging stuff in stores, to just being out in front of the stores and just to do surveys to assess the stores, what they can improve on. With all these projects, as youth, we get empowered by going out there just to go see that we have a voice at city council, or that we can change something in our community from a store. So the projects really help us as youth.
Good job, Joe. I'm just going to take a moment right here and acknowledge Joe, because we're doing a little dance here right now. I'm just going to give you some insight. This is also actually how we do what we do. So Joe and I have talked about, we can come up here and have this very methodical presentation, and we need that. We need structure. We need, boundaries. At the same time, something that's very important when we talk about youth voice is that youth voice is youth voice. Youth voice isn't my version of youth voice and Joe's voice. My job is to provide Joe a space to be his best self and to guide him, ask him questions, to help him develop his voice, but in his way, not in my way. And I think that's something that often happens with people like myself in these roles, is that people will come up here and be like, oh, if they don't say this or not said in this certain way. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge Joe for being here as the youth person that's here representing us, and for being brave to share with all of you. So, Joe, thanks.
Thank you.
Hopefully that helps to kind of, whew, you know, you're doing a good job, sweetheart. Okay. All right, so moving on. Oh, let me just say a couple things about these, actually, just to give a little more framework for our work. So our work is really, again, rooted in environmental prevention, the built environment. We're really looking at policies and systems, but we're also advocating, you know, for bike paths and safe parks. But specifically, we have projects, the Healthy Restaurant Project, which is actually an offshoot of the Healthy Eating Options Ordinance. And these projects are rooted in the community. They are built on partnerships with the store owners, restaurant owners. And what we do is, with each of them, bring in professional consultants to work with our markets and our restaurants. Because what we realized was that if you go into a market, for example, we actually don't know how to do a market makeover. So one of the issues that, you know, we were asked to talk about is who do you partner with and what works? And we've really learned that you really do need consultants and experts who know how to do that kind of work. So some of our projects are those projects, and then also we have a healthy options vendor policy that we passed with the Santa Cruz Metro Board. So that's one of the first of its kind in the country. And that one says that vending and vendor machines have 50% healthy options in the vending machines, and the vendors have the option of participating in a healthy vendor award and program. And then we do other things that are community-based. Family Fitness Challenge Day is one where we just did this last year. It is a free event. We had about 350 people, and we highlighted the work that we've done with the markets and the restaurants by having them come to this fair and provide food, free, healthy food. And then we had about 10 different events that were also connected to community-based businesses and organizations, like the YMCA did basketball. We had a Mini Mermaids running club that did a little run around the park. We had the National Tennis Association came and did tennis. And so all the families came together. They get a little card and participate in all the events, and were entered in a raffle to win free prizes. And Get Out, Get Fit. Actually, Joe, you could talk about Get Out, Get Fit.
So Get Out, Get Fit is a summer program that is run by the Youth Center in Watsonville. We partner with them when they take them out to keep them active for most of the day. We teach a 1 hour, a 1 hour nutrition class to them as the youth. The youth run the class. We teach our younger peers, the middle school students, on how they can make healthier choices when they go out to eat, or what they can do to stay active, different things they can incorporate to their lives so that they're not always just sitting down or at home watching TV. They can be active, have fun, even just walk around town with their friends, and yeah.
Thanks, Joe. So again, one of the questions earlier kind of addressed this. We participate in events that provide information and somewhat of immediate needs around having that information, but then we also, again, work on the built environment and environmental prevention so that we're doing both, because I believe it's true. And it's, a model of our United Way is that we must meet immediate needs and then also work for long-term sustainable change. All right. Okay, Joe.
So, this, as you can see by this slide, obesity affects everyone in the nation, whether young, old, wherever you live, rural area or in the city. And what really affects us is locally, about 50% of children in Watsonville are obese. And this really is something hard for me to understand, because we're an agricultural community where fruits and vegetables are grown right in our community, but yet we don't have access to them. A story I can tell you is my mom works in the fields, and sometimes she gets out of work so late that she doesn't have time to cook for us. Just even 3 days ago, when she got out of work, she couldn't cook for us, so she just stopped at a fast food restaurant and brought us food from there. And it's just like hard to understand that rarely she can bring strawberries from where she works, and so we can eat that. So it's easier for her to just stop at a fast food restaurant and get us something from there.
And again, these are the stories. That's why we're here, to connect the lived life of people in our communities to the bigger picture. And that's how we can really learn about what we need to change, and what there's individual and then there's bigger picture systems. And thanks for sharing that story, Joe.
So this picture, every time I see this picture, it reminds me of when the first time I went to go speak at a city council meeting. It was hectic because I'm just very shy. So
It's true.
just it goes to show how you can do all this planning or organizing to go to a meeting, but what really matters is when you're up there, when you know you're about to speak on the behalf of younger youth. You're their voice, and you're there to just, how can I put this? Just voice what is needed in the community for them to stay active in a healthy aspect and in an active aspect. So once you get your message out there, you know you're doing it not just for you, but for everyone else who can't really go up there to say have a voice, because most of the youth, when the city council meetings go on, they're in school. So I'm glad that right now I have the opportunity to be here, because I'm a college student now and I have time off to go out and talk and voice other people's opinions.
So youth organizing, and how I see youth organizing differently, again, is a little bit about what I was talking about before, in that often the role of the adult ally, which actually what I say is, these guys call me Jefa. Sometimes they say I'm their Jefa, their mom and their friend. Jefa means like boss. And I'm like, no, I work for you. And so that shift in our roles and identifying what each of us are expected to do creates an opportunity to grow them and grow myself. For me, it's a letting go of that perfect, little boxed presentation, because the magic and the beauty is in the youth sharing their lives and their stories in their way, as I was saying before. So another thing that along these lines that comes up for us is we're often asked to speak about many different topics and issues, and I think that this can get complicated sometimes because there's, a lot of overlapping issues related to health. And so for us, for example, previously we've been asked to talk about pesticides, and not that pesticides are not related to health, but if we dilute our message, we're not going to be as powerful, and we're not going to have as much of an impact if we're really clear and strong in our focus.
So partnerships. I believe that before you can make a partnership out in the community, in our group, we have to make partnerships within ourselves. We need to get to know each other, understand where we come from and what our views are. So before anything, I always like to, when new members come into our group, I like to get to know them, so that when we go out into the community, I know that when they go make a partnership, even though I'm not directly making a partnership with someone, indirectly we have a partnership with them, because I can understand what my coworker has done to make a partnership with them.
Okay, so, and then on that note, partnerships to me represent the systems. The people are the systems, right? And I think that we forget that. We get so busy in our work that we forget we are all in this together. And I think we just have to sometimes take a little more time to identify why we're doing what we're doing, and we're going to get a little bit more into that. But really, the partnerships and the relationships are what sustains us. And for us, the relationships that we develop with the store owners, the relationships we develop with the restaurant owners, the relationships we have with the city staff and the city leaders are that's the richness for us. And, we can call each other anytime, we can ask each other requests, and it's because we have a shared understanding and we have a committed goal that we're all committed to. So we know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And that's, what we're talking about there with the solidified shared commitment. And as Joe said, our work is, we start with ourselves and then it, sort of ripples out. Like if we're not interacting in a way that's caring and supportive and inquiring about how each other are and what's going on, it's not going to happen out in the community. So, Manuel said also, like, you have to have fun, and I require fun. We must have fun. If we're not having fun, really, why be there? So, and for these guys, they've been in school all day. They're in environments all the time. Everybody's telling them what to do and how to be, and, there's pressure and expectations, and we come together, and as Joe said, anybody can come. People come together because we have a shared passion for having a healthy community. And we've had youth that have been in juvenile hall, and we have a youth right now that's at Brown on an 8-year medical scholarship. All of them. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you care. And that's where the growing greatness comes, because the youth who have the opportunity, sometimes they're put in a box of, oh, you're just gonna be unsuccessful or whatnot. And, success comes in many forms. And that's another thing that Joe and our youth, we talk about frequently, is that we all have different assets. We don't all want to be speaking publicly. We don't all want to be doing surveys and data. Like maybe we do sometimes, but we bring different things to the table. So where do we need to grow and stretch, and where do we need to acknowledge, and, we can mentor each other. And again, so that basis, that connection is the foundation of our work. So, Joe, you want to tell them what we do every week when we get together?
Every week when we get together, before we start our meetings, we have what people would call an icebreaker. It's the highs and the lows. So we say a high we've had that week, and then a low of that week, and sometimes we elaborate on them. And usually they bring out new ideas we can present to City Council, for example. I remember one time we got kicked out of a tennis court because it's the only place that had lights. And since we like to play soccer, it was nighttime. We were there, and they called the police on us. We were escorted out. So I
wasn't there.
The next day, we came into Jovenes SANOS, and we had our highs and lows. And everyone who was there that would want to go play soccer, because we're all friends, we were like, yeah, we just got escorted. Our low is that we were escorted out last night by the police because it was the only place that had lights that we could go play soccer. And from there on, we were thinking of doing, going into City Council and presenting to have a soccer field that had lights for us to go play at night.
So again, it brings it full circle that if we change the context of our conversations, right? I mean, it's really funny. The secret, when people say, Kim, how do you, all those kids, they come every week and they're, so engaged. And it's because we're like hanging out, but we're having conversations about important things. At first I was like, agenda, and, everyone's like, they've been in school all day. Like, it doesn't work. But I had the thought, I've got to do that. And again, like I said, there's a time and a place. And we talk about that all the time as well. There's a time for us to joke around and have fun. And then there's a time for us to be serious. And we're all learning, when that is. Some of us need to be more serious. So I'm doing pretty good today, right, Mary Lou? And some of us need to lighten up a little bit, So again, we can all help each other in those different ways. I wanted to add that what we're doing by having that environment of trust and having that environment of respect and having that sharing, supportive environment, it's holistic. Schools first, right? Family first, then us. We're somewhere there. So there's no struggle. There's no push-pull. And we support each other in all those environments. Somebody needs help with some academics. If somebody there can help them or give a recommendation, those kinds of things happen. Somebody's having something, a couple years ago, last year, my dad had cancer, and these guys were texting me and supporting me. And because I'm open with them and I share with them, we have a real, authentic relationship, and Manuel was talking about that as well. That's the key to me. It's real, and it's transparent. There's no hidden agendas. We all know why we're there. And it makes us able to focus and be effective and powerful because we're there for the same reason. And I don't know if this is a real term. I don't know if I made it up. Maybe I borrowed it, but it's human investment. We're investing in our humanness, not just our intellect, right? Yes, our passions, but our whole person. And again, I think that's something that we often miss in many environments is we don't address all of it. And, there's nothing wrong with some distinctions, but I think acknowledging all the parts of us is important. Do you want to add anything, Joe?
No, I think you did a great job.
Thanks. Okay. All right. So I talked about some of this already. Again, it's, trust and respect. But the way we come together, again, sets the stage. I realize, and I talked about this a little bit already, my role. And I take it very seriously. How I'm role modeling for them, how I'm being, the questions I'm asking. Ultimately, it's up to them. I also have a 17-year-old daughter, so I have some practice with this. But, in parenting and in this work, I've really learned it's not about telling. And again, it's about shaping and asking. And we'll get to that in a second. But that's also how we do our community work, and that's also how we do policy. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say right now. Joe?
So yeah, our philosophy is trust, respect, setting the bar high, expectations, and then so connection and fun. So before I wouldn't be able to come up here and speak to you guys. I was the shyest kid you could ever meet. I was just quiet. But now, thanks to all these expectations we have of ourselves, all the trust I have for the people that are behind me when I speak, I know that even though they're not here, they support me. I set the bar high for myself, and the fact that I know I'm not here for myself, but I'm here to represent everyone else who doesn't have the opportunity to speak up. All the connections I've made have shown me that what I'm doing is for a greater purpose and a greater cause. And then we just have fun. So knowing that I can have fun, I'm well supported, all of this has got me to where I am today, being able to speak to all of you calmly. So I know where I stand now, and I know what really matters to me. Mm-hmm. So I would like to ask you guys, where do you guys stand, and what really matters to you?
There we go, thanks. I was behind. See, I also need them for technology issues. I'm like, where's the cook? How do we do this? So yeah, Joe and I thought it would be nice to take a second to engage with you all and find out why you're here, and for you all to engage with each other as well, and to actually model and do what we say. And that's really what we try to do, walk or talk, practice what we preach. And so, again, our foundation is coming together on our principles and our values. And we do that all the time. It's not like once a year we go, oh wait, why are we here? We do it all the time to get reminded of those things. So we want to ask you to think about what you stand for. What really matters to you. And you are all here just like us for a reason. We didn't just, it's amazing how many times what Manuel was saying is like what we're saying. It's very similar, which is good. We're all saying the same thing. But yeah, we didn't just wake up and be here. It wasn't an accident. So there's something that drove you.
Yeah, so I want to ask you guys, think of a leader who inspires you. Think of what qualities that leader exhibits and what qualities you most admire about that leader. And we're going to ask maybe a couple of you to answer. So, take a second. A person that really inspired me is my mom. for the fact that she's been there as a single parent for a long time now. And she's just always been supportive of me. We don't always see eye to eye. We argue a lot, especially as a teen. I would really argue. But now I know that all the work she's done, all the time she's put up with me, I respect her for that. And I just value the hard work she's done and the support she's given me.
So yeah, everybody take a couple minutes, talk to your partner, someone next to you, behind you, whoever, and we'll come back together. And if a couple of you want to share, we can do that.